had this supervisor that just couldn't stand me. And she made life so difficult for me. She was the push that I needed to get about doing what I had been called to do. Some of you are in situations that are real uncomfortable, situations that are real painful. And we have to be careful about painful situations because sometimes we can get comfortable with pain. We may not like it, but it's familiar and comfortable. But sometimes the pain will get so intense that you just gotta break. And when you break, that is your opening. So you get this supervisor that just can't stand you, or you get fired from your job. Oh Lord, you think your life is falling apart. Your life ain't falling apart. It's coming together. Because truth be told, you know you didn't like that job. You know you were ready to go. You've been talking about leaving that job for years and just staying because you didn't think that you could make it without it. See, that's that program for failure. But you know you were born for success. And so your heart has been calling you for something greater. And it often only comes together when something seemingly tragic happens. And what I know about tragedy is what we call a tragedy oftentimes isn't a tragic situation. Baby, that's your transition. That is your transition to something greater. Don't fall apart. Your life is not going to fall apart. See, many times we think that things are just going to fall apart when life happens. You've thought that so many times, like, if this happens, life is going to be over. Guess what? You're still here. It ain't fell apart yet, has it? You're still living and breathing. And the very fact that you are living and breathing, meaning there's yet purpose in your life. There's yet something for you to accomplish. And so for me, I had to go through hell and high water to really come to know who I was. It took me having to file bankrupt because I had this dream of starting my own business. And so I took out a $25,000 loan on this house that I had over in Stockton. I lied to get the loan. You know, back then you could get what they were these no-doc loans. So you could say what you made $500,000 and you made $25,000. So I lied because I wanted a house bigger than what I could afford. But I got the house, took a loan out on the house, started this business, Leffall Employment Agency. And I'm like, my business is about to blow up. Got me a little office on Edgewater, and I'm like, things are about to happen. Yeah, they blew up all right. 6 months into that business, I had this little Mercedes that I used to love. Y'all remember that song about Pebbles, Mercedes Boy? I was Mercedes Boy. I was him. And so I had me this little red Mercedes, and I'm like, my life is about to blow up. And so 6 months after I started my business, I came out, my little red Mercedes. I was like, where's my car? Looking all around for my car, can't find my car. So I called the police. That's what you do when somebody steals your car. So I called the police, and they're like, sir, no, your car hasn't been stolen. The lender has taken possession of their vehicle. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. And here's the thing, I thought I had hid it so well. I wasn't even at home when they caught my car. And so my car got repossessed, my house went into foreclosure, and then I found myself bankrupt. And I wanted to give up because all the things that I thought defined me, I no longer had. Now I'm driving this hoopty, a little Mazda RX-7 with primer on the side, sleeping on my mama's couch. And so my concept, like Wanda talked about, was distorted because I thought my value was in the things that I had. But what I've come to discover is that your value doesn't change with the material things. Anybody got some money? Anybody got, give me a $20. Give me $20 out here. Give me $20. Let me just talk about value. Let me just talk about value. So this is $20. I'll just take 10. This is $10. And so the value of this $10 bill is $10. And so even if you pump it up, still $10. Even if I step on it, still worth $10. Even if I put it in some water, the value doesn't change. The fact that you've gone through a divorce, you got fired, somebody left you, your value hasn't changed, baby. You're still valuable. Your value does not diminish based on what you go through. Your value only diminishes if you think it does. Because look, ain't nobody holding you back but you. Ain't nobody holding you back but you. And so what it requires us to work on our mind, work on getting back to our real purpose and our real truth, and the fact that we were born for success, but programmed for failure. But the good thing about being programmed is you can change your programming. And so for me, how I got to that multi-million-dollar business is I started changing my mindset. I started reading books and looking at other people that were successful. And what I learned from them is that everybody's experienced failure. But what they didn't do was allow the failure to weaken them, to define them, to make them step back. Because what happens for many of us, the moment we experience a little bit of failure, we go back to what's comfortable. I ain't gonna try that no more. You know, that was scary. But see, what I've learned about life and what I learned about courage is that it's not that you don't have fear. Courage is that I'm afraid, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm going to be like that little engine that said he could. And I'm going to tell myself, I think I can. And that's what you got to do. I think I can. No matter what. Because guess what? Ain't nobody better or worse than you. I don't care if you're the CEO of whatever company or you are the janitor. Everybody's your equal. We all have a different purpose in this life. And once you discover your purpose, that's when you step into your power. So sometimes it requires us losing some stuff, losing some things that we thought we couldn't live without. And so for me, I needed to go through all I went through. I needed to lose my house. I needed to lose my car. I needed to go through bankruptcy so I could discover who I really was and realize that those things didn't define me. Because with or without those things, I was still enough, but I didn't know it then. And so it took me losing everything. At my lowest point, I was eating Roman noodles every day. Because you know you can get 10 packs for $1. And I'm like, okay, Jesus, I'm tired of eating Roman noodles. I need to do something different. And so one of the things that I did differently in my business after I lost everything, I used to think that I was afraid to speak in public. I had convinced myself that I was shy. How many of us have convinced ourselves of some things that have limited us? And so I had decided that I needed to get over this shy thing because I needed to really get about building my business. And so I said, I'm going to join Toastmasters. Anybody ever heard Toastmasters? Yeah. So I said, I found a Toastmasters class. It met every Tuesday. But every Tuesday I came up with a brilliant excuse of why I couldn't go. And I was like, every Tuesday would come. I said, I can't go. I'm going to go next week. Then the next week would come. Then the next week would come. And I would never go because here's the thing. We're brilliant with our excuses. Oh, we could talk ourselves out of doing any and everything. And so finally, because I got tired of eating top Roman noodles every day, I said, let me get my butt into this Toastmasters because I'm tired of pretending like I'm shy and that I can't speak in front of people. What am I afraid of? What y'all gonna do to me? You know? And so we do that to ourselves. We limit ourselves based upon maybe we had a bad experience. Maybe you spoke in class one time and folks laughed at you and you let that stop you and stifle you forever doing it again. And so I went to Toastmasters and guess what? I didn't die. It wasn't even that bad. Oftentimes we make things worse in our heads than they actually are. So I went to Toastmasters and I started going and I was like, well, what the heck was I afraid of? Because what I learned about being nervous is that when you're nervous, what happens is, and this is why sometimes folks who know their work and they take a test and they do bad on the test, is because we tense up. And when you tense up, oxygen is not getting to your brain. And if oxygen is not getting to your brain, guess what? You can't remember nothing. You can't even remember your name. And so I learned how just to relax. You know, when trouble comes your way, you got to learn how to just take a deep breath. Relax and get centered. And so I lost everything. And then I remember I started coming back to myself because I told you I was looking at other people who had failed before. Because one of the things that I learned is that most millionaires have filed bankruptcy once or twice in their lives. So I was in good company. So if you've ever filed bankruptcy, guess what? You're in good company. You're on your pathway to success. That's what you need to know. And so I'm like working, and my business is starting to get better. I'm filling my mind with positive information. I'm not listening to the news. I'm not listening to the negative rhetoric, because when my business had looked like it was going to fail, my friends and family was telling me, I knew you couldn't do it. What did you think? You need to go get you a job like everybody else. You ever heard that? Folks telling you need to do just like everybody else. Well, I wasn't created to be like everyone else, and neither were you, because here's what I know, is that I don't care how much money you have or what your job title is. If you're not living in your purpose, you will always have what I call divine discontent. A new Louis Vuitton ain't going to fix it. A new Mercedes ain't going to fix it. If you're not living in your purpose, you will always feel this void, because we were created for a purpose. We were created for a reason, and we were uniquely created to do something very special. Like Wanda said, you were called to do what you were supposed to do. Don't worry about what they're doing and how they're doing it. And so for me, I remember I was walking around the lake with my son. He was like maybe 2. And one of the things that when I get stressed, I like to walk. You know, Jesus walked, you know, and so I'm like, let me walk like Jesus. So let me just, so I walk, and what walking does for me is it relaxes me. And when I'm relaxed, I'm able to hear, you know, what God has to say to me, and I'm able to get clarity. And so one day I'm walking around the lake. Things in my business are starting to go a little better. I'm not eating Roman noodle every day. I'm down to about like 5 days. Things are starting to get slowly better. And I'm walking, and I got this idea that I was going to get $1 million contract. $1 million contract. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Look, I'm driving a hoopty. I just filed bankruptcy, and I got this idea that I was going to get $1 million contract. Anybody ever had one of those ideas that you don't even understand, and you're looking at your situation and thinking, I'm here, but that's way over there, you know? And so I had enough sense at that point to know not to go run out and tell people. You know, oftentimes when God gives us a dream or vision, we run and tell Susie, we run and tell Tom, and guess what? They're telling you, you can't do that, you can't have that. But see, God didn't give it to you, give it to them, He gave it to you. And so I learned not to just run and tell folks what I'm going to do and what God told me. And so I just started believing that $1 million was going to come. And so slowly but surely, things started getting better. Harold was down to about 3 days with Roman noodles. And I'm like, okay, things are getting better. And so I'm working on myself. I'm going to Toastmasters. And then I get this call from this guy. His name was Mark Unger. And Mark Unger tells me that he had been hearing about my company, Leffall Employment Agency, from all these different sources, and he wanted to partner with me on this big government contract. And he said it could mean $1 million for my business for 3 years. And I was like, huh? Keep on talking. And so he said, yeah, I keep hearing about your company from different sources, and I had no idea who was talking about me. But you know what I've learned is that when you are doing what you're called to do, there's a scripture that talks about God making your name great. God will make your name great. You ain't got to kiss nobody's butt. You ain't got to do nothing crazy. If you're doing what you're called to do, things will open up for you. Opportunities will open up for you. This ain't what I heard. This is what I've lived. This is what I experienced. And so he said, well, I want to meet with you to talk about this contract. And so I met with him. He wanted to meet with me the next day. And I was too just hyped. And by that time, I had sold all my clothes to Buffalo Exchange. I only had one suit, and I needed to make sure that one suit was clean. So I said, no, can we meet, you know, on Wednesday? And he said, okay. And so I went to that meeting, and I got me a little attaché from Ross. And by this point, I knew who I was. Yeah. Now, I didn't have no money in the bank. I was driving this hoopty, but I knew who I was. And so I walked into that meeting with my little attaché, knowing that I was enough. And so I sat there, and he was interviewing me and acting as if, you know, he was thinking of considering other companies. But in my mind, I already knew that the contract was mine. And so I left that meeting. By the way, the contract was mine. And so he said I needed to provide certain documents, but once that was cleared, the contract was mine. And I remember getting in my car, a little Mazda RX-7 with the little primer on the side, so I couldn't afford to get it painted. I remember driving, and I'm full of tears. But these were unfamiliar tears. These were tears of joy, and not only tears of joy, because what I learned in that moment was that God was for real, for me. Yeah. Not my mama's God, not my... I learned who God was for myself. And so what I've learned is that for most of us, there'll come a dark period of the soul, a period of darkness for all of us, all of us. And that is a period where we come to find out who we really are. It's our awakening of who we really, apart from all of the beliefs and systems that we were brought up on and told, it becomes that break-in and opening for us all. And so I got that contract, and everything changed for me. So now I got this $1 million contract, and you would think, like, oh, I'm getting ready to just really do something, you know, getting ready to go buy some things. But what I realized is that I no longer needed a Mercedes. Didn't even want it. I got a little Jeep. Because when you know who you are, you don't need those symbols. You look at most rich people ain't driving Mercedes, and it's the folks that are trying to look rich. You know, and my goal is to be rich rather than to look rich. That feels so much better. It feels much better to really be rich and not just to have the illusion of wealth. And so, and I realized too that I needed to go through that, because some of us, if we don't go through something to humble us and to strip us, we could get a big head and really think that all these blessings was because we're so special. Ain't nobody more special than anybody else. I hate to tell you that. Don't nobody have more God than anybody else. Sometimes we try to act like folks who are prospering have got more God. No. God is in all of us. The only difference is the mindset and what we think and our belief system. That's the only thing. And so when folks were asking me, how did you get that multi-million-dollar contract? It was my mindset. I had been working on my mind. I've been working on building myself up. And this is not something that you just do one time. It's a daily practice. You got to do it every day, because life is going to happen. Something right around the corner waiting on you. Some craziness. And so every day you got to guard yourself. You know, you got to spend time getting quiet. I used to have this friend, I still do have this friend, she used to always tell me, listen softly. That's not all mystical. What does that mean? Listen softly. But what she meant was just to get quiet. Settle your brain, settle your thoughts, because when we go through, we tend to just let our mind go and go and go. And let me tell you, you can't come up with no creative solutions when you're in that state of mind. It's only when you're able to get quiet and still that you're able to come up with the solutions. Because guess what? You are the solution. Stop waiting for somebody to come rescue you. You are your rescue. You are your rescue. And so for many of us, we oftentimes are waiting for somebody to discover us. The real beauty of life is when you discover yourself. When you discover yourself. When you discover your value and your worth. God created you just the way you are for His purpose. All of what you think are inadequacies or uniqueness, all of that is for His purpose. And so when I started to really understand that, it allowed me to have the confidence to go into those board meetings and to go into those conferences and to ask for the business. One of the things that I've learned about many of us, we don't understand our worth. When I had my staffing firm, most times when I would offer a salary to a person of color, they would accept anything that I would offer them. I would offer that same job to a white person, they'd be like, no, I want more. I want more. And I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on here? And there's a different sense of understanding your worth. And so what would often happen is, I would have two people on the same job. Sally making $40 an hour. Kim Letta's making $10 an hour. She mad because the other person, but guess what? She didn't ask for what she was worth. She didn't have the confidence to ask for what she was worth. And that all stemmed from your understanding that you are enough. You are enough, and standing in that. And so every day, you got to get still. You got to get still and listen. And you got to write down those things, those visions, those dreams you have. That's why the Bible says write down the vision and make it plain. Make it plain. Make it plain. Because it's something about writing it down that brings life to a thing. And here's the thing. If you fall off, get back up. Don't stay down. Because one of the things I've learned about people who are successful have strong bounce back skills. Don't mean they don't fall down, but they get up quickly. Too often we fall down and we stay down a long time to the whole next year. So you fall down in 2017, you're like, well, I'm going to wait to 2018, now I'm going to get back up in 2018. Then you fall down midway, then and we go through that. But every day, you got to work on, those things that will build you up. Getting still, writing down your vision, listening to tapes, listening to audio, and watching folks that are successful. Turn off the news. Stop reading the newspaper. Stop reading all those crazy statistics. Get focused on you and do those things that scare you. There's some things that scare you that you just keep putting off. But that's the very thing that you need to do to take your life to the next level. What I know is that everything good that has happened in my life, it happened because I saw it I was able to visualize it first. But not just visualize it. You got to be able to feel it. See it and really feel it. Feel it like it's happened. When I was in Black Enterprise, it felt like deja vu. Why did it feel like deja vu? Because I had seen myself in that magazine way before they ever called me. And so it felt like, this happened to me before. So you got to be able to see yourself. And what we don't give ourselves permission to do as we get older, and because we've gone through some challenges, we stop giving ourselves permission to dream and to think big. But guess what? It ain't too late. It ain't too late. And God can turn your situation around in an instant. In an instant. But you got to believe it. You got to believe it. Not somebody else. You got to believe it for yourself. That's the only gift that somebody else can give you. It's the gift of knowing that you are not. And so, I just want to remind you, to encourage you, to keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on no matter what. Life's going to get tough. Expect it. But keep getting back up. Les Brown says, when you fall down, fall backwards. Because if you can look up, guess what?
Yes,
you can get up.
Yeah.
And so, here's my challenge to you. Next time something happens crazy, maybe tomorrow, car breakdown, Monday, Tuesday, you may get an unexpected bill. Because guess what? One of the things that I noticed, anytime my life is getting ready to go to another level, it seems like all hell breaks loose in your life. Anytime you're about to go to another level and stuff just start falling apart, finances, family, know that your breakthrough is right on the other side. If you can just hold on just a little longer, it's right there. And you just got to keep on believing. You just got to keep on trusting, because what I don't believe in, there's this old adage that says, fake it till you make it. No, I don't fake it. Faith it. F-A-I-T-A. You faith it till you make it. You keep on trusting and believing. In spite of what you see, you get up every day. You encourage yourself. You talk to yourself. You tell yourself, you're going to make it. You're going to do this. You can do it. You got this, girl. You got this. You got this. And guess what? You keep on doing that, you'll be on the other side sooner than later. And so I just want to encourage you to know and to believe that in spite of whatever you've gone through, you ain't lost your value. You're still valuable. God still needs you to do something for him. But you got to believe it. You got to trust it. And you got to know it. Can't nobody do that. We all waiting for you to do that thing. We waiting for you to write that book. We waiting for you to start that business. We waiting for you to do that. We're waiting for you to show up as the brilliant, bold person that you were created to be. Don't let nothing stop you. God has so much for you. You know, your best is yet to come. And so, in closing, I just want you to say these words for me 3 times. Because you got to speak it out to the universe. Sometimes when things get crazy and you're in your bathroom, you just got to tell yourself, look in that mirror and say, I'm enough. I'm enough. I'm enough. I'm enough. And so it is. Thank you so much.